All right, guys, here we're going to talk about Insatiable, Season 1, Episode 8.
Okay.
So, she comes back.
Oh yeah, but not before some slow-mo sex or something.
I was going to skip over the awkwardness.
This amazing guy picked me. Hi.
Just did I have a stroke? This amazing guy picked me. No. Yeah, like, so you don't know what to believe with this stuff. Like,
well, what do you mean by that?
Well, the character...
Are we fast-forwarding to when he comes back in and says, I want to be a family?
In general, all of our encounters with Christian throughout the whole thing, he's never a real person.
He's a manipulative douchebag.
Well, he is. So you're like, is anything he's ever saying a real thing, or is it all just a plan?
I think he might be a sociopath.
I think that's fairly accurate.
Whatever happened,
that's how he's written.
What does his dad keep saying? We don't want a repeat of what happened in Brazil or some weird place like that. Yeah. So
he was one of the boys of Brazil.
He murdered.
He is Hitler's
all his kids. He's a clone of Hitler.
Yeah.
There you go. Nailed it.
Well, I thought that went without saying. Is that
couldn't
not how
see
you
that one
picked this
coming.
up?
Yeah.
No, and he has like a fake face. So in addition to his personality being fake,
yeah,
and how he's always playing people, he feels like just a plastic person.
And like, I hate his face. He reminds me of a bunch of people that have been thought of as being hot, where I'm like, I don't see why this person is like attractive, just like objectively. There've been a bunch of stars throughout like the 80s and 90s and everything going through the whole thing. I remember seeing like, oh, girls love this guy now, and I'm like, that guy sucks. What do you mean? Guy's not like interesting or something like that.
And it's probably because he's acting. I always wonder. I'm like, is he acting well and that's why I hate him, or is he acting poorly and that's why I hate him? And I can't exactly tell. So I will lean towards their favor and say he's doing a good job.
He's doing what he's supposed to be doing.
Yeah,
theoretically.
Theoretically, he's doing exactly what he's supposed to be doing, and he's playing the douche properly. Now,
as a douche, he says, "Yeah, that was fun." When she says, "I love you," and that precipitates the entire her coming back, not liking him.
Well, because even if you're,
stuff.
And this is not his first time, but even if you're a young person and it's your first time, you know that's a dumb thing to say. And even if you don't know right before you say it, the moment it comes out of your mouth, you should be backpedaling and saying something better than that.
Which seems kind of out of character for him.
Because he's a smooth guy in most parts of life,
he should
but in this one element, post-coitus, he drops the ball.
In the post-coital fog of war, he couldn't see through to victory. No, yeah, it's honestly strange for him to say that unless he was trying to get some,
under her skin,
something. Yeah,
there's no way of taking it other than, okay, I got what I wanted, I dropped the act, fuck off, bitch.
Exactly.
That's how I take it. That's how she takes it because
yes.
that's how it should be taken.
Sure.
Because even if you did not mean anything this way, this would start a fight in a relationship, and that's how it would be taken. That's just how it goes.
And like Choi wouldn't know that, but
no.
Christian should know that.
But Choi would have picked up on the, oh, you're mad. Oh, I'm sorry. What did I do?
No, it
was fun. You want to go again? Like
yeah.
Choi would have been charming in some way.
I'm an unstoppable dynamo. Yes. No. Yeah. Exactly.
Do you need to rehydrate and get some carbs? I've got a veg weenie or whatever it was called.
I've got a veggie. Oh, the leany weenie.
Leany weenie.
The lean weenie.
Veg weenie? That sounds retarded.
Sure does.
Yeah.
Okay. So she goes back. She finds out that she, in fact, won Miss Magic
Indeed,
Jesus.
she makes it back in time to actually collect. Our pocket-sized enemy is ever so pissed.
Well, and like now we're even framing it up like, what happened? Oh, Magnolia's in rehab. She OD'd on coke and she like cheated on the test and she's horrible.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like paints this whole, because we saw everything unfold thing by thing with like a reason behind it. When you just catch someone who was out of town up on it, it's like, oh, that's a train wreck. Okay, fine.
Yeah,
and then she takes the time.
For a while now.
Exactly, and like Hot Bob tells Dixie, I think Patton might be toxic. Like he's even putting the kibosh on her stupid, ambitious.
And her
plan.
response, if you don't like, Bob was a goddamn DA. If he doesn't pick up like her saying, "Oh, I'd do anything to do whatever I do. I'll kill things. I do anything in my way. I have to smash." Like whatever her exact wording was, it came off as like, "Well, you did this. This was you. Obviously, you. You have to go to jail."
It's right. It's kind of in like the greater context, you find out. I don't know how good Bob is at his job. He's good at taking off his shirt, but I don't know how good he
You
is at
have
his
to
job.
be at least a little good
Do
to
you?
get to where you are. Like, he had to beat qualified people, and, like, I understand if you're attractive, you have a leg up. But
I got a
but
qualification right here. Let me take my shirt
It's
off.
a thing where you had to pass a test just to get there. Your good looks can't get you through these tests.
The bar or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's. I'll take that tomorrow. Be fine.
And, like, let's just continue with Bob for a moment. So,
My family's normal. I don't know what any of that means.
I did love
I
that.
was like, oh dear Lord in heaven.
I did love that, and Dixie's too dumb to even take offense to that.
Yeah, and like what you're getting at is Dixie lays out that, like, since my mama's gone, I've needed the patents even more because that's what she had me do to focus all this energy and keep me sane and all that stuff, and that's the whole, like, so obviously we're setting her up as a more outlandish villain, which comes into play later.
Yeah, and yes, more things from the past come into play later too. So
you want to keep going in order, or do you have a thing?
with Dixie or Bob?
Patty's late. She's pregnant.
Yes.
That's where we cut to next.
So Patty being pregnant, or at least what she thinks is pregnancy.
Okay, right. So she's like, I took a pregnancy test and I'm pregnant. She bonds with her mom. There's kind of some dumb stuff here. There's a lot of weird right to choose, very, like, prominently out there and all that stuff.
None of that really hit me because a lot of that would be discussed. That all made sense. It wasn't like how some of our other heavy-handed things where it's like, I've jumped full circle into this whatever thing. I'm whole ham.
No, and, like, honestly, I feel like it was really well handled because a lot of, especially the men, are like, well, that's not my decision to make, and Patty begins to feel more and more isolated, like, I need some advice here, I need some help, like, what the fuck, or whatever. There's a great line where she's like, everyone else gets to go about their normal days, and I'm sitting here trying to make the most important decision that I may ever make in my entire life. I'm just like, that's, because whenever there's like
I like that statement.
Whenever there's a personal tragedy in your life, I remember especially like being on the way to, like, the hospital or, like, a funeral or something like that, and just seeing people fucking doing their I'm like, fuck you, you're doing your normal thing. What, are you late for work? I'm doing something important here, right? And this tapped into that, like, feeling. She's watching the kids go into school in, like, slow motion, like, talking to each other, and she's, like, disgusted, like, fuck all you people, I'm dealing with a real problem.
It definitely, like, hit where I'm like, yes, how she described it particularly, I was like, yeah, whether your thing is, like, a good thing, a bad thing, personally, like, there's always that shit, like you're in your head going like, oh, I might have AIDS or whatever, and someone's like, oh man, I got a parking ticket today, life sucks, or you just, like, lost your job and someone's complaining about the price of ham, or like the best thing in your life just happened and someone's telling you about some good thing that happened to them that, like, pales in comparison in your head. You're like, just fuck it, let them talk.
And you want to, like, attack them, like that problem was caused by you, I'm waiting for test results on my biopsy, you idiot. Like, you're just like, fuck you.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And I like, because that, this was a cool way
it felt
to do
real.
this.
Yeah.
Yes. So overall, thumbs up on that whole thing.
Sure. The part that I think was telegraphed, and I like that how it played out in actuality, is that, like, our Bob, like, is like accosted almost by other Bob, and like where he plays it into it far harder than the setup we had on our Bob. So our Bob is an effeminate man who likes doing pageants and hair and stuff like that.
I've been using the word camp to describe him.
Camp.
He's camp. What are you gonna do?
And then other Bob, who's been like clearly set up. I thought since we saw the hot pants, I'm like, no man has a mankini.
Listen, there's a thing, because there was a dude in our not our crew, but in my crew when I was really young. We'd be like on drugs or something, and he would always take off his shirt. He had this thing with taking off his shirt and all that stuff. And I always thought it was so weird. He ended up being gay. I think that I think there's something about, any excuse to take off your shirt has something to do with, like, oh, look at me and how attractive I am. It's this weird thing.
I've known, well, I can't say that I know them inside and out,
Nope.
but I've known a couple of people across my years that have been big shirt-off people.
Shirt-off guys, yeah.
And it's not always a sign of, like, look at my abs, because sometimes they're not even in shape.
But something about it was just, looking back, I'm like, that was the key. Should have known. Yes. We're not in touch anymore. But the point is,
but I had a feeling that it was gonna come to a thing where Bob said, "I've only picked on you because I love you."
We talked about
and
this.
It did.
We called it. This is wonderful.
Super happy that played out.
Now,
Bob took that kiss for a long time, too.
It kind of goes in a whole different situation, and it's kind of consistent with Bob's thing or whatever.
While he had lost his hair too.
Yeah,
like it was the worst. Like it's like when someone's ugly crying and something happens.
Yeah.
It was like that of this man's life.
Because they get into a fight. So like, Hot Bob says like, "Listen, I made some bad investments. I'm broke or whatever. Like I need this. I can't step away." And then they, it escalates and they get into like a fight. He snatches his wig, during the stupid fight.
Yeah.
I love Fat Bob punching Hot Bob and like it not having any effect because that's accurate. That's how that would work or whatever. I love stuff like that. I hate when like some nerdy character punches like an awesome character and like they're like knocked out and they go like, "Well, I guess my work here is done." It should be like, "Oh, I've never punched anyone. This is awful," or something like that, because that's how real life is. So when it cuts back to them, they're like wrestling in like the bathroom. Snatches his wig and then he goes, "I think you're beautiful," or something like that. What? And it's this whole thing. So there's like a little kissing, and then he's like, "Get away from me." Then there's more kissing.
Yes.
Which I am afraid might mean that they are an item.
No, it's very weird. And think about how that's going to affect Bob's wife. Where he lays
Which Bob?
Well, our Bob.
Yeah.
Because his wife has like a crush on that Bob, and like, you're the only one that's the light of me, and you fucking took the guy I had a crush on.
She might be into it.
Son of a bitch.
This might be a whole angle.
Maybe. I don't think
she might want to watch.
Hot Bob's wife is going to be into it.
She might want to watch.
I feel like Hot Bob's wife is like totally a homophobe.
Yeah, and
I get that vibe.
But
from
she's
her.
like not involved or whatever.
No.
She in fact's gonna be like, not only is this not consistent with our country club lifestyle, but like cheating on me, being gay, being with that low class pageant horror Bob.
Yeah.
Like this is all bad.
I'm taking the house.
You
get
can't.
The hell out.
I want a divorce. I've known for years. You're so bad at hiding it. You own several mankinis. It'll be this whole thing.
Noticed something at the beginning of this episode. And it said I can't remember the wording, but it was like Insatiable, a like select series or something. Like it said something that like made me think like this is a one-time thing. There's not going to be a season 2.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't say mini-series. It said like
limited series.
Maybe a limited series.
I think they've. I think Netflix has started to go through for stuff where there either wasn't a second season planned, or there now never will be, and they're just changing it. Because you see season 1, you might be like, "Oh, maybe I'll see if what. Oh, season 1, 2015. Like this show was abandoned and must suck." But if you see limited series, you go, "Oh, 10 episodes, I could do this," and you like check it out. I've been noticing that popping up more too, but only on new things, so I didn't know if it was like intentional or something.
It may have been there the whole time, but I only noticed it this time.
Yeah, I haven't noticed it either way, but I would not be surprised, and like that's kind of what I want out of some things.
I almost need a thing like that to happen. I'm like, where would season 2 go? Like they went through this so quickly.
Yeah,
like you've taken like 10 seasons of what would happen in a normal. Like this is like 24 seasons of 90210, just all in one season
of like pregnancies and rehabs and bullshit. So yeah. Anything that would have been every episode, something happens on this show that should be the season finale of a different show.
Kind of.
Yeah. That's true.
It's a very interesting way of doing a show.
I'm a big fan because I know they made a season 2 of Stranger Things, but I feel like had Stranger Things just been its own self-contained thing, I think 10-ish episodes, like 8, 10, 13, 14, 12, whatever, that type of run, you can tell like a really meaty, good story. Yeah. I'm down with that.
But don't wish that evil upon Stranger Things. I would like there to be hundreds of seasons. I
mean,
much like
they've already popped like the multi-seasonal cherry, so to speak. So they're gonna keep going until they have to stop going.
And they talked about making that an anthology series too.
That's what I would have liked for a lot of these things. Honestly, I think American Horror Story did something really cool. We can just keep doing it forever.
It was a very good way of doing it.
And that's kind of like the gimmick now. But I would take a comedy like that. Just keep scrambling.
I would take movies like when the same crews make movies and just rotating parts. I think it's a fun thing because you like I like that actor. Oh, what is he now? Oh, he's a cowboy. Oh, he's the dick in this one.
Right. James Franco's the cowboy, but he's the good guy. Oh, James Franco's the bad guy, but he's the CEO. Oh, James. Yeah, exactly. No,
it's fun.
And this is a decent crew, honestly. Everyone's gotten so much to do and so many things. I don't know how many of them are Southern or if they're putting on accents or whatever.
I would wager almost none of them.
None of them are, because no actors are Southern.
They're all Canadian.
Perfect. That's why I don't know a lot of them.
Yeah.
Getting back to the whole
All right, so while that
situation.
makeout session is happening, we have Patty outside doing the whole wiener schnitzel, whatever it is.
She's hyping up
leany
the leany weenie. That can't be it.
They're presenting the new, because it was going to be the green weenie, and then it was the
Oh.
lean weenie. I think it is lean weenie. Whatever it is, she's presenting the new on the go
So she's
food truck.
She's partner select Choi's. This is one of like the like the weaker elements. Choi's family buys the wiener taco.
Yeah, they sell at a liquor store.
And now he's just to reinsert them here or something like that. So they have to go to Choi's father and be like, "We have an angle for you. You got to sponsor me at the tournament,
Yeah.
whatever, tournament at the pageant and all that." So it's the whole thing.
The karate
Right.
tournament.
I need you to Mr. Miyagi me. What's that?
Choi in that giant fucking taco with the big
With the
mustache.
Yeah,
Pretty funny.
pretty good.
He's almost unrecognizable, and that's what makes it so good.
That's what makes it perfect. Yeah, it's like it's hot in here. Okay, so she's on top of like the van or
On top of the
whatever.
van, and Dixie comes up, and
Dixie?
Dixie's like calls her out, which we skipped right over. Was she has a demon child in her of her absorbed twin?
Well, okay, so I was gonna go in order, but yes, we started jumping around and all that stuff. She is not, in fact, pregnant, which
Yeah.
is great because that solves all of her problems. Pastor, I almost want to say Pastor Jeff. What's his name? Pastor Mike. Michael Ian Black. Says like, you can't be pregnant. I was gonna get an abortion. That's worse, Patty. You can't. Oh, you're just and whatever. And then yeah, it turns out to be one of those weird internal hormone twins
Yeah.
and all that stuff, which in and of itself is like whatever. But then it gets further flipped where he's like, when I laid my hands on you, that's what I was
demon.
feeling. It's pure evil, that thing inside of you. But she can't get it removed because it's
be
going to
laid up in
conflict with
Miss
the
Pageant
schedule.
season,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. When Bob made the face of like surgery, I thought he was going to say like abdominal scar. You can't be in pageants with a big scar or something like that. But it was more about the recovery time and whatever
Yeah.
else is going on.
So again, what I was saying, she flashed forward and she's fighting with Dixie on top of this food truck because Dixie's like trying to call her out on her shit.
Yeah.
And they make a reference back to like 3 episodes ago. She's like, oh, she fixed my teeth. There was like vampire fangs underneath there.
Like shark teeth in here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she hits her and those fucking chiclets pop right off and her fangs are.
She has fangs, and they all go, what? And then she goes in like to bite her, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She does. She puts 2 holes right in her neck.
Oh, it's pretty good.
She might be dead now.
Yeah. What does she say?
It does not take that much of a fall to kill you. This is a TV show, so either she's totally fine or she's actually dead, and that adds a whole new element to this. I can't imagine it not being foreseen as self-defense because
There's a lot of witnesses that should be saying that
you'd
she was
think,
attacked, right?
You'd think,
Yeah.
but it's pageant country, and they all want her out of the running.
I'm thinking the way this show works is that she will be like in a cast or something and doing a thing or
One of those
whatever.
neck bolt
One of
things
those
where your head can't turn.
obscene casts, but like still want to enter the pageant or some crazy thing. Like it'll
Mm.
be some crazy thing, maybe. Like the show's been taking turns, so I don't know if like this will be one of the turns. I just think that her being dead has more of a dead end, pun intended,
Sure.
of like the plot.
No, it's funnier if she's not
If
dead.
she's still there and like doing stuff, her mom has to get out of prison at some point.
Just with
so
how
she can be back
extreme this show
involved.
is, though, I could see, like, I'm like, no, this is a show where I'd be like, they could totally kill her, and something would happen.
Yeah.
She could not be dead. She could literally just spring up and run off into the woods and just be a vampire that hunts her in the night. Anything could happen.
Right, and then it's Patty like fashioning a steak, being like,
Yeah.
we have to go on a vampire.
The show is so outlandish that
That would be
anything
dope.
could happen.
That would be super dope. We skipped over Bob's father collapsed, had like a heart attack and
Yes.
stuff like that.
Yeah. So while Patty was having her personal tragedy of pregnancy, Bob was having to deal with his potential loss of his father.
He went into the hospital. Cora Lee was there.
Yeah.
I noticed. She said, I'm staying at the Palomito in town.
Mm-hmm.
And that triggered me because Hot Bob said that he was putting her up somewhere in one of his properties or
Yes.
whatever. But that's apparently not true. I don't know if those
Or
things
not
conflict.
true any longer. He may have had to sell the place that she was in because he's broke.
Interesting. They didn't really dig too deeply into
Or
it.
he owns the Palomito.
That was the other thing. It's like I don't know how I don't know how I'm supposed to take this. I'm not sure what that means. I assume the Palomito is like a hotel.
Yeah,
resort
or
hotel
he
place?
has a permanent rented room there for his man love.
Oh God, we're gonna find out all these dumb things about those characters. Whatever. So Hot Bob is now the partner and like even
Above our Bob, yeah.
I should say our Bob and other Bob and not Fat Bob and Hot Bob. That's too redundant. Yeah, and that's what precipitates the later fight and all that stuff.
Yeah.
We even have a thing here with one person's gonna give you everything you need. Oh, he's gonna get down with his wife a little bit. She slept with the massage therapist.
Yes.
He's like planning this elaborate night for them and all that stuff, and all these things get revealed and everything like that. Do they have sex? I wrote "get down" in all capital letters in my notes.
I actually can't remember that happening.
I believe they start kissing because they're like
No, they do.
they're like total truth.
They
Drink
get
whiskey,
they get back
talk.
to normal. They're all cuddly fuckily at the hospital, and then that's when he finds out about the cheating. Yeah,
And he's like, I cheated on you 20 years ago. You cheated with me 20 minutes ago.
it was more like 20 hours. He's
Yeah, he
very
had to like
dramatic.
find a thing. Yeah, but you could watch him searching for what word and like landing on that one and
Yeah.
not being happy with it. I thought it was a really well delivered line. He has daddy issues, which is predictable because it's been mentioned.
Well, he's a mama's boy.
Yeah, well, and he's not what his father wanted him to be, and he has all these issues with that. And his dad on his deathbed was like, "Listen, you're cool." And then, once he survives the surgery, he's like, I forget what he says, but it's something like, "You suck" or whatever.
He said, "One heart to heart doesn't change us." Blah blah blah. Fuck you, Bob.
Yeah, so he kind of storms out of there and is not happy with the whole situation. That's upsetting.
That's more or less everything that happens in the episode, right? Is there any other bits that
I
we
got
missed?
a couple of bullets.
What did we miss here?
They're not great.
All right, perfect way to end.
She gets pregnant through a condom, too. So we already
Yes.
talked about how awesome it is with all the different shades of dealing with it and how I think they handled it pretty well. It was also really cool that, that she got pregnant even though they wore a condom.
Uh-huh.
Because there's a lot of talk about, like, you should have used
Pregnant.
well, yes, but like you should you should have used a condom, and people have to mention like it's not actually 100% effective and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So like it's kind of like how Walter White gets lung cancer even though he's not a smoker.
Uh-huh.
You have this weird thing. On the one hand, it's kind of like, well, they did everything right maybe, but they still took some risk, and now they're in this bad situation, right?
Uh-huh.
It's this weird thing. But I like that. That's it.
Have sex for love, or you'll get pregnant.
It's a good element to me of like you can try to like take measures to like reduce your risk, but something could still happen.
Yeah, you're never risk-free.
Like anytime you're having sex, you have to contemplate, what if I get a horrible disease or the worst disease of all, a baby or whatever. Patty's fatherage, her parentage or whatever, is still up for grabs.
Yes.
We didn't get too many more explicit hints about
I
it.
thought you were gonna. So when they first announced the pregnancy, I was like, this is perfect. Then you're gonna find out that her dad is the father of the boyfriend, and the kid is gonna be born with some issues.
That was my fear, was that if it is if Michael Ian
If it was
Black's
incestuous.
old party days were the thing, right? Then that causes he's like your half brother. It's like a mess
Yeah.
or whatever. Although I wouldn't put it past this,
No,
show
not
to
at
do
all.
something.
I didn't even bat an eye. I was like, yep, that's it.
You're like, there you go. Okay,
It still might be. They still might be. Oh, I had sex with my brother-in-law or my half-brother, whatever.
neat, pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's gonna happen.
I could see that now more than anything else, right? Because what I was going to say is now that we have the weird relationship between the Bobs, there's not really too many other people that it could be, and it's going to feel weird no matter who it is.
Sure.
So I assume they're setting up Michael Ian Black for that.
Or total misdirect. We never find out.
Or it's someone we've never seen before. Last thing, really quick. Several episodes ago, our Bob mentions that he has another daughter in Iraq.
Yes.
And this has come up from time to time. Every other episode, there's a tiny throwaway reference to it.
Uh-huh.
We are rounding the halfway point of this season. I think we're going to see the daughter from Iraq come back and introduce some issues or like things in there. It's very weird for them to mention having another daughter this whole time and not have something happen, right?
Yeah, I'm sure she'll come back at some point.
Yeah, I'm interested how that's going to affect the dynamic and stuff.
She'll be like a knockout and she'll fight Blue Lipstick or something.
Oh, man. Well, there's a lot of directions you could go. She could be a shoo-in for certain pageant stuff. She can know things about things.
All right, guys, that's this episode. Let us know in the comments about what you thought about it. Don't die in a fire, and we'll see you next time.
Hello, internets. I just love watching JustDaggers. If you've enjoyed this video as much as I have, click that subscribe button. Peace out, homies.